Hi, welcome to Foodie Plus Tech. Today I'm going to talk to you about my experiences with monitors over the last few years. As I've mentioned, I have been working remotely for 10 years, and I've gone through various formations and layouts of monitors, from just a laptop and a single monitor to a laptop with two monitors to building my own. This will be my second machine that I've built. I'm giving my first machine to my daughter. She's going to come pick it up in a couple weeks and bring it up to Nevada. But I have built machines and I've had monitors connected to those. So about 4 years ago, Amazon had a sale on Samsung. Let me just look real quick. U28E590D 28-inch 4K UHD LED lit monitor at 60 hertz, which for me is fine. I am not a heavy duty gamer, so 60 hertz was going to be great. The dog's moving around. So I went and bought two of those so that I had a lot of space because I was working remotely. And I wanted a lot of screen space so I could move stuff. I could put my chat programs in the corner. And then after the pandemic, of course, I had to use it for Zoom. And so for me, it was really important I had a wide. So I had two of these, this one and another one. They're both the same size that went across my table. I had a different table at the time. I had a white IKEA table that I had for 10 years. So that one, so I had two of those. And they worked fine. I've had them since 2018, and I had planned on continuing to just use those two as long as I could. Then about 6 months ago, I noticed that my monitor, the other one that's not up here anymore, started to have like a white film on the top. I'll show you like a little image, a little video of that, not the best video, but it'll at least show you what I was looking at. And the first time it happened, I just took a blow dryer and just kind of put a little bit of heat on there, and it went away. And so I stopped thinking about, okay, that's great, my monitor's terrific, I'm not going to have to replace them. And then a little while longer, a few months later, I started seeing it pick up again, and it started going further down up the top of the monitor. So sadly, I had to decide what I wanted to do. Whether I wanted to just go ahead and live with it, which I probably could have lived with it, because I had two monitors and I could just like switch it and use that one as a second monitor. But I had been coveting for a while the curved monitors that they have had on sale for the last few years. And I thought, okay, well, if I can't fix that one, that is not something that I would recommend trying to fix on your own. So I did consider, when my monitor had the condensation in it, taking it apart and fixing it myself and getting rid of the moisture. But again, multiple people told me not to mess with the monitor, try to take it apart, because the first thing I was thinking, hey, I replaced a battery in a Chromebook, so I should be able to remove the moisture from my monitor that I love so much. And I got just too many people telling me that there's just no way. Not that they didn't have faith in me doing it, it's just there's too much risk of destroying the whole thing. So I didn't crack it open, although I'll have to say I considered it. So I had to shop for a new monitor, so I had a few requirements for that. I wanted it to be curved. I wanted it to be 32 inches. I wanted the VESA to be in the middle. And those were the main things. And then other things, like there were speakers on this one. And I did need high refresh rate. 60 hertz is fine. And because a lot of times the refresh rate and the resolution, you kind of have to choose one or the other. I could have gotten one with a lower resolution, so it wouldn't necessarily be 4K, but would have given me more refresh rate for gaming. And like I said, the games I play are basically, build a house, set up a farm, get to know the neighbors and things like that. So I play those sorts of games, and I play some RPGs, but none of the ones that I play don't really require a high refresh rate. So that was one of the things that I kind of let go was I cared more about the resolution than I cared about the refresh rate. But that's something you need to consider when you go to choose a monitor these days, is you have to choose whether you want a high refresh rate and slightly lower resolution or the opposite. So it's one or the other. Right now, unless you want to pay an enormous amount, which I really don't have in the budget, then you have to choose one or the other. You can get a lower resolution and higher refresh rate, or higher refresh rate and lower resolution. The opposite. Yeah. Trying to get rid of the moisture in the top of your monitor. Typically, I'm one that'll say, "Oh, let me take it apart and see what I can do." But for something like this, I just felt like I wasn't willing to take the risk of destroying it completely, because it still could be usable if you don't care about the little white on the top, because it still worked fine. It just didn't look great. So went shopping and went and bought the Philips. What is it now? Let's do here. The Philips 328E1CA. It's the Philips 328E1CA 32-inch curved monitor, 4K UHD. Adaptive sync, speakers, VESA, etc. And it was $375 with tax, and I bought it in March. The two monitors that I bought in 2018, the Samsung monitors, were $270 because it was an Amazon Prime Day. So I got two of them, and they've worked really well for the last 4 years. It was just this last 6 months, and I am still trying to track down why one monitor got the stuff on the top and the other one did not. The first monitor that got the stuff on the top, I've taken it off and it's sitting in my closet right now, and I haven't decided what I'm going to do with it yet. Whether I'm just going to get rid of it, or if I could find some place that knows how to fix it and just give it to them to fix it so they can give it to somebody, because I don't like to throw things away that I think can be repurposed, which is what I tend to do. It's like I'll put a new battery in or whatever. So it's sitting in my closet right now. I don't know for sure what I'm going to do with it. And then I took my second one, which is this one, which has my obsidian on here and my notes. But so I got this one, the second one that was sitting over on this side, and I turned it vertical. The only issue that I ran into issues with this, which is one of the reasons why I went with a Philips instead of a Samsung this time around. Like I said, I've been really happy with my Samsung for 4 years, and I'm not saying you shouldn't get it, but keep these things in mind. The Samsung monitors tend to have the VESA on the top. So if you're planning on doing something like a horizontal monitor with a vertical next to it, keep that in mind, because right now my monitor, the VESA is here, so I had to use a box to keep it from tilting, and I'll show you a little picture of it tilting. So I couldn't get it to go straight. Even as much as I tightened it, it just kept wanting to go over to the side. So I have to resolve that and figure out how I want to handle that in particular. But the monitor works perfectly. I've had it for 4 years. I'm going to continue to use it. Just need to figure out how to get it. So, point being that these monitors, the VESA is on the top, so it makes it hard if you want to do a layout with a horizontal and a vertical, or a horizontal and a vertical, which I see a lot of that nowadays. This one, with the VESA on the top, it wants to tilt. I mean, I don't know if somebody else has the same setup with the same monitors that have successfully managed to get this monitor to stay, vertical without tilting. If you have, please comment in the bottom and let me know, and I'll give that a try. But as of now, I'm using my box from my, what is it? My Raspberry Pi. From a Raspberry Pi to keep the monitor at a relatively even level. When I decided to get the Philips versus the Samsung, there were a couple things I personally was looking for. I wanted a VESA mount in the middle, not at the top like the Samsungs tend to be. I wanted curved. I've been wanting a curved monitor for a couple of years now because I started watching people with their curved monitor setups, and they just seem, really neat. And I'll tell you about my experience in a minute. The first time I started using it, I wanted it to be curved. I wanted it to be at least 32 inches. It had to be 4K. I wasn't as concerned about the refresh rate. The 32. This is 60 hertz refresh rate, which was, like I said, perfectly fine for me because I don't play shooters or games like that require a higher refresh rate. I'm perfectly happy just running around in my little character on my farming games and things like that. So that was fine for me. What else? It had speakers. So it was just the right size as well. I didn't want anything too large because I had lived for years with two 28-inch monitors that took up most of my desk. It already pretty much takes up a lot of my desk. This is a 74-inch countertop that I bought for like $60 at IKEA. It's like a kitchen countertop. So it's pretty heavy too because I put this together by myself. But so, I didn't want like the entire thing to be, I didn't want like a 34 or 39 or whatever. I just wanted a nice 32-inch. And that's why I got this one. My recommendation is Samsungs are great monitors. I would not tell you not to go get a Samsung. But you need to take into consideration that the VESA mounts are mounted on the top. And that causes an issue if you want to tilt it, if you want to make it vertical. So keep that in mind if you decide to get a Samsung monitor. And the possibility of the condensation. And again, I don't know if that's something that I did here. A fan was pointing at it. One corner of the room has more humidity. I'm still trying to track that down. I was actually going to there's a little tool you can use to check the humidity in the room. I just have a small, I think it's like an 11 by 11 room that is my office in my house. So that was the next thing I was going to do is try to see whether or not there's some corner in my room that happens to have a higher humidity. So maybe that's what caused the issue with that other monitor, with the other Samsung. So I will check into that and I will leave a note below, or I'll do another video letting you know what happened with this other monitor. I have no clue. But as far as the monitors themselves, I've had no issues with them. They're gorgeous monitors. They work really well. And so I would recommend buying them. They're not bad monitors, but keep those things that I told you in mind. The Philips, so far I've really liked it. One of my friends kept asking me, "Does it look weird? Does it it's curved. The text curved?" I was like, well, it looks just a little bit. It's not really distorted, but but after a bit, I really loved, and this is only a 32-inch. This isn't one of the larger 34, 39, whatever. But I loved the immersiveness of it. It felt like I was especially when I was playing a game. But it felt like I was being included. I don't know how you explain it, but I've had it for a month now, and I'll be doing a review in about 5 months to let you know. But I've had no issues with it at all. I use it all day. It's attached to my laptop, and it's attached to my desktop that I built. So I just have one monitor connected to my laptop at the moment. But it works great. I'm able to do everything I need to do on there. I can do my Teams. I can do whatever. So so far, a month in, I'm loving this monitor. And it was really easy for me to set up on my arm, on my, what you call those arms? I'll put it up here because it's right out of my head. But, you know, so I could put up on the arm. It was really easy. So to me, that was really important because I've struggled in the past trying to get the monitors. It does have a smidge tilt right now because I need to tighten it a little bit so I can get, you know, the bottom is like a little bit back, and I want to pull it up a little more. So I need to play with the little adjustments and stuff and try and get that the way I want it because I want these two to line up, and they're just a little off. So I'm working on that as well. But Samsung's are great. The Philips is great. I'll do a review in about 5 or 6 months, let you know if I'm still loving my Philips. And that's it. I hope you guys have a great week. I'll be putting out a video next Monday. Not this Monday will be this video, and then I will do another video and it'll be the next. So usually I wind up posting Monday mornings because I do it on the weekend, and then the Monday morning I'll post something. So I hope you have a great one, and thank you so much for listening. Okay, bye-bye.